Hi, everyone. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa, and today is Thursday, the 17th day of Donald Trump's second presidency. So we'll kind of jump in and see what's happening. It sounds like Elon's made some suggestions, and we'll see what happens over at the Treasury. But I want to know what Johnny thinks about it. So join me and Johnny Litecoin right after this, right after you give us a like and share the video. Welcome back, Johnny. Good to see you.
Hey, Lisa. Good to see you. Good to see
We're
everybody.
we're in the dark MAGA today. We're all
Yes. Love it.
I should have worn my hat. So interesting stuff. One thing I didn't talk about with you before we got started, but I did want to mention was that El Salvador had gotten rid of or decided to get rid of the legal using Bitcoin as legal tender, which I thought was really interesting. Some people are like, oh, they're pausing because Bitcoin's a failure, and all the haters. But other people were saying, no, it kind of just like what Trump did with, oh gosh, so many things, but with the Treasury getting out of the central banks, this could be a decentralization of cryptocurrency for the people of El Salvador, because they found it wasn't that popular, because people found out, oh my gosh, they can track everything and see everything on Bitcoin. And so I kind of think making it voluntary is the direction that they should go.
Yeah.
And I remember rumors of someone visiting El Salvador a few years ago with some people that one guy took a picture while he was on the plane with them, and he shouldn't have. But who knows? It wasn't me that did it. So, I don't know, but not. And then leading into that, I guess that could be a good thing for the people of El Salvador, kind of like, hey, you guys choose what's legal tender, more of a free market.
And it's a way to where, like I said, the IMF and these other like banking powers have control over the transactions and what people do. Because the big controversy was like they're shutting down the Chivo wallet because they were taking the IMF loan, and that's what they said. So it's almost like they tricked the IMF. They're like, yeah, we're going to shut down our wallet. But because it was legal tender, how the IMF works and all that, they'd have to have do all they'd have to have control over it. In other words, right? Kind of like what we see in the U.S. The bank, I always say it's not the rules and laws of the United States. It's something else.
And we're seeing that now with this whole uncovering. The USA aid is just a sliver from what I heard this morning on PDB or PBD podcast. They were like, everyone's freaking out about the US aid and the misspending, and some of it's, a lot of it is, insane things. Well, we all heard all the insane things. In fact, Charlie and I were at lunch today and overheard some people, like normies, horrified about hearing about, whatever for Guatemalan sex changes or however much for all this crazy stuff. Because it's the first that a lot of people are hearing about this kind of stuff, because they just haven't been listening mostly.
And they don't understand the debt, all that, how the monetary systems, people don't get it. Like if you say 36 trillion in debt, they're like, that doesn't mean anything to them. You know what I mean?
They can't even comprehend that number. I feel the same. Minute, didn't they do 9/11 because they were missing $2 trillion, and now we're talking about 36 trillion, hundreds of billions. It is hard for your brain to kind of wrap around how much that is.
It's mind-boggling, but it's But either way, so we're so into this stuff, and that way, then when normies and stuff hear about it, they're like mind blown by it. How could this be? It's like, well, of
Yeah.
course, that's
No one has to, yeah, if they never have to pass an audit, they just do whatever they want. And then hearing that the Treasury requests were anything USAID submitted was supposed to be automatically pushed through, no questions asked. Like to hear that, that's insane as well. But when you have a money printing machine, why not?
when you're not on sound money. This is the effect of not being on a sound money system. Is things like this, and it's government that only gets bigger, that never gets smaller. Nothing more permanent than a temporary government program kind of thing. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
The
And
next bandage on the oozing big tumor.
yeah, so it's
Yeah.
definitely the effect of that type of system. They always say, you fix the money, you fix the world. It's true. It's just, the thing is, it's none of, I don't even think any of us say, oh, it's smooth sailing the whole time when you fix this monetary system. Like Bix will be the first to tell he'll say it's going to be, it's painful, but it's to
Yeah.
fix the system. That's what people have to remember, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and we have to think about when you're cleaning a house or cleaning out a house after somebody's lived there a long time. I think about with our estate sale experiences and stuff like we got to preview a house this week that a friend of ours is doing a big estate sale on. And right now, it like when we go in and they do their estate sales, it looks like a model home. It's so cute. But right now, when they're pulling everything out of the attic, they're pulling everything out of the cabinets, they're having to, like, it's a train wreck.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a
so,
good analogy, Lisa. I like that.
yeah, that's kind of where we are right now. Is like we're in the house cleaning, we're having spring cleaning mode right now. So
Yes, very,
insane, totally
very
insane.
true.
The guys are posting some examples of what some of the misspendings they've been finding were. That's funny. So I did hear today that Elon was talking about or proposing to put the Treasury on some kind of blockchain.
Yes.
A lot of us know that Doge is a blockchain. I'm not sure the mechanism of Doge. I know that it can be merge mined with Litecoin, which makes me think it could have some of the similar use cases or technology behind it. But I'm really not that versed in Doge itself. I don't know. Would Doge be a good choice? The Doge blockchain be a good choice to follow the Treasury, or would it be better to use something like Litecoin, where and then make government transactions and allow individuals to choose to use MWeb for privacy if they wanted?
I would see it where if the Treasury was on a blockchain, I think they would mean more, not necessarily to we the people as far as a blockchain went. It would be more where settlement would have to occur through like banks and all types of every institution that settles into the Treasury, and where the Treasury disperses the money, that would all have to be done through some type of trackable blockchain. What would that be? Now, I think it would be a second layer on
Okay.
top of a very secure block, because it would have to be it would have to be some type of second layer. It'd probably be some type of stable coin, right? On top of a very secure blockchain to be trusted and to be decent. So I would think it would have to be on a top blockchain.
How do you make sure that a stable coin is decentralized?
This because it would be, again, if the blockchain is decentralized enough, then that means the second layer could only, you know what I mean?
Okay, so that would give accountability to the second layer because
Yeah,
it would be a mechanism of audit in itself by being on that.
they would have to create their own layer, like an MWeb type of thing, right?
Okay.
It would be for this use, and I would think it would have to settle into either the Bitcoin network, the Ethereum network. Notice Trump's keep buying tons of Ethereum, right?
Hmm.
Um, Litecoin could be a possible contender, possibly. Dogecoin, the reason I would say possible contender, look, Trump released that meme coin, right? What
Oh,
if
yeah.
he did that as like a play and now it's Dogecoin is the block? You know what I mean? So I could see it being Dogecoin, but I think Litecoin would be a lot more like respectable, if that makes sense. And I think Litecoin has more development and capabilities to build second layers into it than Dogecoin. Litecoin handles a lot more throughput right now. So I would
Yeah,
think,
when we're seeing all the transactions on BitPay, it was the most transacted coin for
yeah.
2024 and all that. So we know it can scale or handle that number of transactions. Um,
And it has lower fees than Dogecoin.
that's true.
So I think, I don't know. Again, I don't know what blockchain it would settle into, but those would be my picks right there. I would say, um, I would hope it wouldn't be XRP. Whatever they're building,
Me too.
I would hope that. Could I throw something like that in as a contender? Sure, it's a big market cap. It's got people tricked, I feel like.
Well,
So,
and maybe, Uncle Cliff's data was that the people would refuse the new money 3 times or something. Well, if the one time is refusing Bitcoin through El Salvador, or is it the original was refusing dirty fiat and El Salvador's number 2, and we're going to get to a number 3, or will we have another fail like XRP and all that? Because the XRP, to Brad Garlinghouse's own words, the token, the company itself is not beholden to the token holders. Um, yes, they use the XRP token on the Ripple network, but the Ripple network stands and once the banksters go down, which maybe they'll just get me a cup of coffee and give my kid a sucker and help, be more service industry and actually let me just use that method to pay bills and whatever. Um,
yeah.
but I just don't see like it perpetuating past that.
So I think when Elon and they're talking about put the treasury on a blockchain, I don't think they're talking about currency for us to use or
Okay.
money for us. I think it's more of that has to have accountability where we can see where the money goes and it
Mm-hmm.
would have to settle out every day so we can audit it, see
Yeah.
what's spent, see what's done. We could track, follow, settles back into that through that blockchain on that second layer. So that second layer, kind of like how you could say with MWeb, you can see what goes in and out.
Mm-hmm.
That's in a sense like the final settlement of MWeb. If you think about it, you take it back out under the layer 1 Litecoin blockchain.
So
Any second
like
layer.
a copy of MWeb could work for the Treasury, but you'd have to have it transparent for the people, right? To see the transactions. Or were you just saying like,
I
no?
don't think you would want it to be a private C blockchain as far if we're auditing them. You know what I mean? That's what I always said because they always had a problem with us using privacy stuff.
Right.
I said I have a problem with them using privacy stuff. I want to audit them. I hope we can use
Right.
one day the Bitcoin or Litecoin network where they have to settle into it. I guess the logical choice would be Bitcoin. It's got the largest market cap. It's the most known. It's the most robust blockchain out there as far as indestructibility. So I guess if they settled into the Bitcoin network, that would be a real win for we the people. You know what I mean? That would,
Yeah.
yeah. If they
I
did
guess
it like that.
governments could settle peer to peer between governments. in something like Bitcoin, but I just don't see it making a lot of sense with the amount of spending and transactions that we're seeing, unless we really are cutting on or saying the transaction fees and the clunkiness of Bitcoin. I don't see where that would work.
It wouldn't matter if they had their own second layer built on top of Bitcoin. It would
Okay.
just be a big transaction every day that has to come back through to settle back in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And there would be a second layer that would be auditable, and then it has to settle out each day, like how right now at the end of each day the Federal Reserve ACH system settles.
Okay.
It would have to settle back into the Bitcoin blockchain.
So all the messing around on the second layer has to add up at the end of the day on the Bitcoin blockchain.
And I would be, even as much as I love Litecoin, I would think Bitcoin would be the best. I would be happy if it was Bitcoin. I feel like, okay, that would be a great use for Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. It's not money for a little guy, but something like that. And with how you got to remember, Bitcoin network is so secure where it can't be taken over as far as how much computing power it has and all that.
And you don't have any hesitation about, in the past, Bitcoin, actually Litecoin's the longest running blockchain and all that. You still think that Bitcoin's not hackable with these threats of quantum computing and all this kind of stuff?
I can't see Bitcoin going down again. I think that chances of the Bitcoin network going down again would be about the same as the Litecoin network going down.
Okay.
So I see it as a small chance for either. I don't think, again, I just think based on the market cap, first, all that's why I would say Bitcoin would be a logical choice.
Okay. Well, I know a lot of people feel like Bitcoin's been hijacked and the ETFs and all that. And then this week.
It has been, but at the same point in time, that's a way for us to use it remember, every tool can be hijacked, but then if that tool still exists, you can hijack it back and now you might be using it for something different. Maybe that something different helps you more than what it was originally intended for. And again, Bitcoin was intended to be money for people of the world. Maybe there's other coins that were suited better for that, and it's better used to hold governments accountable and very large scale things like that. Or remember, through like a Lightning network that, even though it's had its struggles, let's face it, at some point it'll probably get built out and be pretty good. There's cross-chain interoperability between those. So I would think Bitcoin would be a logical place, and I would hope it would be on Bitcoin over Ethereum. But Ethereum seems like I wouldn't bet against it being Ethereum. Look what Trump's companies are buying. It's Ethereum. They're not really buying much Bitcoin. They're buying Ethereum. So that I always question why.
Yeah, because supposedly Michael Saylor is buying all this. There like the way that Trump worded things, he's very specific in his wording, and though people think he's bumbling and all this, he's actually like the Stalin thing. Oh, I sent some stuff on my Telegram about that. He's been talking about that Christmas cake for a while, but we don't talk about that right now. But when he was saying, he didn't say a Bitcoin reserve, strategic reserve. No. He said crypto. And now we're seeing like an ETF. Would it be these ETFs that are used in the National Strategic Reserve, or would it be actual Bitcoin and Litecoin or different coins that are, held in a custodial wallet by self-custody wallet by the
some type of multi-signature wallet.
Or would they use ETFs?
No, I would think for that case they wouldn't use ETFs for a strategic reserve. I would think that the government, with all their capabilities, they would use self-custody, because then they'd be beholden to somebody else. They're the government. They would want that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I couldn't see that, but it's a possibility. I wouldn't rule it out either. You know what I mean? You never know. Definitely a possibility.
Yeah. I think it's an exciting time. It seems like new news, whether it's about crypto, there's a lot of distraction going on, the hypes and the hearings and are they going to approve this guy or that guy? And I was waiting all day for Trump to come out and sign more EOs. And then I finally just had to give it up because the Dems were fighting so hard. They were even like, they were having to get censured every time they would give their vote. They'd start debating, and I can't remember what her name is, but like the clerk or something would have to say, because of the rule number 12, there will be no debating during voting time. And then, old Pocahontas would jump up and start screaming, and then Maxine Waters, like they've all lost their minds. But the guy today that was getting voted through is this John Vogt, Vought, and it's for the Office of Budget and something else. It's like something Office of Budget and Management or something like that. But apparently he was one of the co-writers of the 2025 whatever it's called project out as well, or it's like,
Okay.
we're going to support or we're not going to allow Christian anti sentiment, all that kind of stuff. And so I don't know. It was just horrible to watch, but torture. But it makes me wonder when they start dragging things out like that and it's so much drama. I'm like, what am I supposed to something else or learning from somewhere else,
Yeah.
to jump in. So,
Lisa, sorry, I had a thought too, just going back to the blockchain for the
yeah,
Treasury and all that. It definitely could be Ethereum. But it might be not Ethereum, its own blockchain that's EVM compatible. And the reason I'm saying that is because that World Liberty Financial, all of that's built around Ethereum.
and Trump using Solana for the memes for him and Melania and all that is all based on Ethereum. Would it be Ethereum Classic?
The memes were on Solana.
Yeah. But doesn't Solana run on Ethereum?
Solana's probably, I think it's EVM compatible, but it's
Okay.
no, you know what? Solana's
like that ERC or whatever.
Correct me. Solana's everything's done on the layer 1, and that's kind of why people say Solana's like good, quote unquote, because everything's done on the layer 1. But as we know, it goes down, yada yada yada.
Yeah, it doesn't have good reputation. Yeah.
Either way, Solana has the most meme coin activity, so that's why they released but they took the profit and bought Ethereum. What does that tell you?
Okay.
I think Ethereum's going to be used more for, again, more serious stuff, and Solana could be more meme coins and stuff like that.
I remember an early interview I did with Reggie Middleton, and he was explaining how, like, when you're looking at these, when we had all the ICOs in 2017, and you look at what they're having you buy, and then have they improved that coin by the amount of Ethereum they've collected? Because basically, like, these projects would come in and they'd claim they're going to do this and that, and you would buy their coin and they would receive Ethereum for you purchasing their coin. And it's like, oh, wait, so what value did they do something with that investment? Like, did they improve? Did they, like Litecoin continuing to, it seems like every year that there's a Litecoin summit, they're announcing some new thing, the gaming thing and the NFT thing and the I can't even think of all the ordinals and all that stuff. Like they've continued to develop on that chain, and so that was one of the many things I learned from Reggie. But
I guess if the company or quote unquote selling that token is doing it right, then they sell a token on the Ethereum blockchain, an ERC20 type of token. They get Ethereum, and then you, as the holder in that company, quote unquote, because you bought that ERC20 token, if you can then audit it and if they can prove to you this is what we're spending the money on, this is going to this, and you see the transactions going through and it's being proven, then I guess a system like that would be a good system if there's some type of accountability.
yeah, well, that's what we can hope for. And I don't know, it's exciting to see these. It doesn't feel like that long ago that we were traveling around and giving away Litecoin, trying to get people to download a wallet and teaching people how to spend it, with the Speeding app and the Litecoin card and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
now it's like, it is front row. It is the future, clearly. And where these big governments and institutions, they may not want to. It seems like they're going kicking and screaming. It's almost like they wanted this, and now that they got it, they're like, oh crap, you mean I have to be totally exposed? I thought I was going to have total control. So,
yeah, no, it's a good. So I'm such a fan of putting any of this stuff on a blockchain. That makes complete sense.
yeah, the truth will set them free, and I don't care where they go as long as they're not my money.
Well, be prepared for them to put out a lot of FUD about why this is bad and to try to trick people into thinking, no, we don't want that. It's bad. They're doing this. So just beware of that, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's always that kind of stuff. More is coming out each day, but at the same time, there's a lot of distraction. I saw a post where, coming out with, or they're showing people is, all that spending and all this. Now I can't even find it. Blockchain for full transparent. Oh, here it is. The Kaiser Health Plan. How do I share this page instead? So this was very interesting. Jeffrey Epstein as the director of this. Why won't this let me make this smaller? Oh,
He's still a director, or is that a different Jeffrey Epstein, perhaps? I mean, that is a popular last name.
They're on the bottom of this picture. Oh, wait, here we go. Zoom in, zoom out. Okay, well, it's not doing it. Okay, I can't find it. And now I'm clicking on things. I don't want
clicking tax year 2023, Kaiser Foundation Health. That's the EIN, matches as Jeffrey E. Epstein as the director.
Another one that showed.
What was Jeffrey Epstein's middle name?
Something about this information, and it was showing the money.
Jeffrey E. Epstein. Okay, Jeffrey Edward Epstein. That was his.
Why did USA give? I'm sorry, guys. I thought that's the one that. Oh, here's the one I was looking for. The social engineering. So, Thomas Reuters Special Services LLC obligations $9 million and blah blah blah. Active social engineering defense and large scale social deception, also known as LSD. That was concerning. And then down here it shows COVID-19 obligations and outlays.
Hmm.
All through awarding agency through the Department of the Defense and awarding sub-agency through the Department of the Air Force. So like we need to have some accountability through all agencies, I guess.
Yeah. And
But would that I'm sorry, go ahead.
Where was that Jeffrey Epstein? Where'd you find that from?
Somebody sent it to me, or I found it
Gotcha.
poking around like I do.
And then I was just thinking, because I was looking up, I wonder if that's the Jeffrey Epstein, but the real Jeffrey Epstein's middle name was Edward, so that would line up with the E in there.
Yeah. Okay.
But then I said, what if your name was Jeffrey Epstein? Would you change it?
Heck yeah.
That'd be up there with like having like Hitler as a name or something. Like
that would be rough for sure.
You're not making it easy for yourself going through life.
No.
Like P. Diddy, what's your name? Yo, I'm P. Diddy. Like, yo, change your name.
Change your name. Well, I was trying to explain to Cannon that that's like not his real name or whatever. And he's like, oh, okay. I was like, no, they have other names. And that's probably what they put on legal documents and stuff. Then they have like their stage name or whatever. But
P. Diddy's real name was what, like Sean Combs or something like that.
Yes, that's it. Sean Combs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting that they're not using his real name in the media and stuff? They're saying Diddy and they're saying P. Diddy and they're saying all that, but they're not calling him Sean Combs in the news.
It is interesting, I guess, because that's what he's known as, I would say, and that's going to get more clicks and views. But at the same point in time, what if it's a comm and it's not the real guy? You know what I mean? And it's this. Now, there's another thing too. P. Diddy wasn't always P. Diddy. He used to be Puff Daddy.
Oh, that's right.
And then he changed to P. Diddy. So that's another curveball to throw in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How many names do these creeps have? I was encouraged that I don't remember if it was the new press secretary releasing the Epstein files, and I guess there was a date thing on it for a while where it was like, oh, they had to wait 60 or 48 days, so that was going to put us like early to mid-March. Which I wonder if that's Cliff High's data lately. He has a big disruption or emotional on like around March 15th. And that's about in line with when the MLK, the RFK, and the Epstein lists are all supposed to come out. So it'll be interesting to see.
Some exciting stuff going on.
Yeah. There's a lot. Well, I still think it looks good for Litecoin.
I was just going to say that, Lisa, you read my mind. It looks, looks like there's a lot of activity around this Litecoin ETF. Mm-hmm. So I think that's an easy, even if you guys listening out there, like, I don't like Litecoin, like I like silver. This seems like a way to get twice as much silver as you're getting now for your money. I think Litecoin in the next 2 months should do something for sure. So it'd be a way to, hey, you want to make a quick buck? This seems like it's almost like, because there's not a lot of attention on Litecoin, it's almost in a way like you're front running. In this case, you're front running Wall Street. It's always like back in the day, you hear about people get to buy stock before it goes public, right, and all this stuff. Yeah. In this case, we're the insiders, the people that have been in crypto that know about this stuff. So I guess, take advantage of it to try to change your financial situation.
Yeah. Or at least, help you leverage to opt out of the corruption that we're all kind of entrapped by. But
that's a great use of Litecoin, but that involves more, I guess that involves more of changing your behavior as far as now you're in on the usability of Litecoin and how to free yourself and use it as a lifeboat out of the system. But I'm talking to the people that message, they're like, they don't get it with crypto, or they're like, they don't see it. I would tell you, it definitely seems like, nothing's financial advice that we're saying, right?
Of
But
course.
based on everything that's you're seeing right now with crypto, with a new administration and the White House, how aggressive cryptos are, there's a bunch of Litecoin ETF applications, and they're the furthest along. So it would seem like when that would be approved, there would at least be a pump in price. And if you're someone that loves silver or something else out there, and you buy a certain amount of silver each week, or might be a way to say, hey, I can speculate on Litecoin right now. I know it's not going to zero. I know I'm not going to lose all my money or whatever. It's not a meme coin that I'm putting money into. It's pretty safe.
Pretty stable. Yeah.
There might be a chance of a big move in the next couple months. Then I can make 3 times of my money, 4 times my money or something, and sell it and get a bunch of silver that I would have taken me a lot longer to accumulate.
That's definitely a strategy. And that's where everyone does have to do their own research and do what's right for them. We have some friends that we're meeting with over the weekend, a younger couple, and they called and they want, help. And it's like, well, we're not going to tell you what to buy. We'll help you learn the technology. Part
Yeah.
of like everyone has to take this on for themselves. That's how we got trapped in the old system, was we let there be deciders. And Bix talks about this all the time, that like that's why he says there can't be a Nasera Jacera, because the way he heard about Nasera Jacera, there are these deciders. And so for us to truly be free, we have to be able to be in a situation where we can exchange peer to peer and not have deciders and not have all those middlemen. So
yeah,
definitely.
I guess, yeah, you're 100% right. I guess that's why having an asset like Litecoin makes so much sense, because it could be the weekend. It could be a Saturday night. The price of Litecoin could pump a lot for whatever reason. Now you can go onto a precious metals site and buy silver or gold directly
And
with
for a
your
discount
Litecoin.
when you use your crypto.
Yeah. So think about it. If you sold the stock, there's time for it to clear. Then you have to transfer the money to your bank account. You're lucky if you have that money a week later.
Yeah.
You're lucky if you have that money a week later. Even if you tried to sell Litecoin on Litecoin on an exchange is faster than selling a stock. At least you'll in theory get the money the next day when the bank's open, or a day after that or something or whatever, but wouldn't take that long. But if you can just, like Westwood said, Litecoin is sound money for the digital age. If it's pumping in price and you want to lock in some profit, but you're thinking outside of a fiat mindset, you can then just say, hey, I'm going to take take 10 Litecoins right now and buy silver. Boom. That's a great use of 10 Litecoins right now.
Yeah. And during this time where our economy is changing so drastically and so quickly, it does remind me of, some interviews I did with Andy Scheckman, and he talked about, he's always very reserved or cautious. And he's like, he tells people to buy precious metals, all that. But he said it's because historically they've been used to preserve wealth. It wasn't about number go up. It was about preserving your wealth and then being able to have it in your own possession when there's blood in the streets. And you can go buy, instead of working at the hotel, you go buy the hotel and you own the hotel. All those stories from, the Depression and all that. So I think that's the important part.
Keep your eye on the Litecoin to silver ratio. How many Litecoins, how much does one Litecoin buy as far as ounces of silver goes? And it was, right now, it's about probably under 3.5. It was just over 4 ounces of silver last week before this last little crypto crash, because Litecoin was kind of pumping. Silver was $1 or $2 lower. So it was over 4 to 1. The number in mind that I would say to take advantage of would be if you have Litecoin right now and you love Litecoin, you love silver, you want to, but you want to, hey, you want to make money, but you want to make wealth, not fiat, right? Look at 10 to 1. When one Litecoin buys you 10 ounces of silver, then you're taking 10 Litecoins and buying yourself 100 ounces of silver.
Wow.
That's a great preservation of wealth, because if the system blows apart, the silver is going to be worth God knows what. And Litecoin might still go up, but silver is something that's going to be there and that's undervalued. So I would really watch that Litecoin to silver ratio.
And both silver and Litecoin seem like we're at that moment where, we're seeing gold now is at its new all-time high. We're seeing Bitcoin at new all-time highs, but silver and Litecoin are like that beach ball held underwater. And between the ETF coming and constitutional money around the door, all this talk around the Constitution, silver is constitutional money. And so I could see both of those things just
popping. Yeah.
We'll see.
I would still think it would be Litecoin first because of all this buzz, So I would think Litecoin has a better chance of pumping more in the next 3 months than silver does. And let's see if I'm right. If remember,
because that's counter to Uncle Cliff's data. He said that silver would go first.
I'm not giving a fiat number for Litecoin.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give a ratio. I think you'll see 10 to 1 with silver coming up here. And then, it'll feel really good to have Litecoin at that point in time. But then at that point in time, I wouldn't be buying Litecoin. I'd be buying silver at least. You might say you don't want it, but that might be a great time to buy silver with Litecoin. That's all I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. Yeah. Westwood, Bitcoin went first.
Give you guys we'll give you guys some quick fiat numbers, right? As far as ounces of, say right now you had, let's say 100 Litecoins, right? Which would cost right now at $103. Say it would cost you $10,500 for 100 Litecoins. Now, how much ounces of silver would that get you right now? That would maybe get you 300 ounces of silver with the premium and all that, right? Okay. So for 100 Litecoins right now, you should be able in the next few months to turn that into 1,000 ounces of silver.
Wow. That would be
awesome. And then if silver takes off and Litecoin drops and the ratio comes back to 3 to 1 or whatever where it is now, then say you move back into Litecoin with those 1,000 ounces of silver, then you would get, how much Litecoin would you get at that point in time? You would get way more than
how much silver went up, because there's a lot of the experts and a lot of the people in our kind of circles talk about that once silver goes past $50, because that was the previous all-time high or whatever, there's no top for it. Within days, maybe hours, we'll be seeing $100 silver, $200-$300 silver. Cliff High still has it in his data, the $600 silver. So that could be within days. And then what kind of, he always says you don't want.
Okay, if we're just looking at ratios, right, of Litecoin to silver, then say you did that at that point, if that happens, you wait it out. Then, so the math on it would be, if you took then your 1,000 ounces of silver and it went back to a ratio like it's at now, like 3 to 1 or whatever, right?
Okay.
Then you'd get, say, 330 Litecoins, right? So now you got your 330 Litecoins.
You went from 3 Litecoin to 300.
You started with 100 Litecoins, right?
Oh, okay. We were
Now
at.
you have, now you didn't put in any more fiat. You have 330, right?
Mhm.
Now you wait. You might have to wait a couple more years or whatever for market cycles to happen. Now you swap back into silver when that ratio goes back to 10 to 1. Because again, the Litecoin to silver ratio always moves. It's
Yeah.
just a question of timing it when it's in your favor. Usually it's not what feels good at that moment in time. But if you time it right again at 10 to 1, then you're going to have 3,000 ounces of silver. When right now, if for that, those 100 Litecoins we said would get you about 300 ounces of silver. So you actually turned purchasing power of 300 ounces of silver right now into over 3,000 ounces of silver. How crazy is that? For not putting in a dime more, just by remaining calm in your mind and playing those ratios right.
Well, and that's that saying about, make a plan and then work your plan your work and work your plan, and not being in those emotional positions where you're, getting caught up in the hype or the next meme coin or whatever. So many things. But
Yeah.
that's awesome. I love it. Um, the guys are saying, I can't even carry that much. I don't care. I'll bring a dolly. I'll carry it for you.
I was gonna say, don't worry, guys. I'm strong. I'll come carry it for you.
That's right. Johnny will carry it around. We'll get Johnny to carry it around for you. Well,
That'd be a
thank
cool job.
you.
That'd be my job in the future to stay in shape when I'm old. What do you do? I carry silver around for people. My friends got so much silver they can't lift it. I got to meet them and carry it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think, yeah, the future is bright. We just right now remember that when you're seeing the darkness, it's because there's so much light being shined on it. So just keep that in mind and stay positive, everybody. You know what the truth is. So, well, Johnny, thanks so much. I'm glad we got to talk about this and talk about how that sounds like that ETF will have a positive effect on Litecoin. So I look forward to that. I hope everything you said comes true.
Let's hope. Let's hope. Take care, guys.
Thanks, guys. If you are up tonight, I don't know this officially. Westwood, are you doing a Twitter Spaces? They were doing their hash it out, and I caught part of it, but I didn't catch all the end part. So,
Gotcha.
Follow Johnny on Twitter at Johnny Litecoin. Follow me at Lisa Mighty Davis, and go follow good old Westwood _ Clint Westwood _
Remember, guys, silver and Litecoin.
I thought I heard some clanking. Yeah, I love it. All right.
Me.
Take care, guys.